You know what? The one thing I will say about Tottenham is that they do know how to keep you on your toes. And they do know how to put you through the ringer, don't they, eh? So, after the awful match against Chelsea, I was kind of looking for a bit of a reaction yesterday. And just touching on the Chelsea game, just to be absolutely clear, I personally didn't think that we were going to win against Chelsea. And it pains me to say it. It absolutely does pains me to say it. But I do like to be honest and kind of level-headed about it. Chelsea are a good side. They're a good team. They've got good players. They've got a good coach, and they've got that desire to win and that winning mentality. And we were always going to struggle against them, always. And I think that's just dot on the card. And you know, I did joke about it, talking, you know, before the game and that, messing about. You know, I've had a couple of drinks, so now I think we're going to win 4-0, blah blah. But it's just a joke, right? You just know it's going to be really difficult, a really difficult game. What pained me more than anything was the manner in the loss, the way we just kind of capitulated and didn't really make an effort. Certainly in the second half, and I thought the first half was obviously a lot better than the second half, which then brings us onto the game against Wolves, and hoping to see a reaction, and I felt there was one. I did feel that there was a reaction. It's quite difficult because I did have to watch it on a stream on my phone, but I was quietly confident and quite happy. You know, watching the game. You know, the lineup was good and strong. Harry Kane was in the team, and there was still creativity in there with Ndombele, you know, and the Celso, and you're kind of thinking, well, you know, there's a bit more about it, you know, in this game. And so I was, you know, the goal that Ndombele scored was brilliant, and absolutely what we've been crying out for from that guy. And he absolutely has it in his locker. You can see that he has it in his locker, right? So great bit of play by Skip, who set it up. But the fact that what pleased me the most was that Ndombele didn't give it up. He kept running, and he ran into it, and he forced the error. Played against him, forced the error. And when he cut back inside, I was like, you've gone too far now. You've done too much. You've allowed him back into the game. But to be fair, you know, credit to him. He kept his composure. He placed it, no problem whatsoever. And I thought, great goal. Absolutely what you've got in your locker and what we want from you. That's the sort of play you want. Now, you could argue that maybe because he hasn't been playing, he hasn't got the consistency and so on. But we'll see. Time's only going to tell with that, right? Because he's clearly going to be in the team. But he's forcing his way in by playing like that, right? And again, the second goal, Harry Kane, you'd have put your house on him to score that goal. Great through ball by Dele, who he gets a lot of stick, you know, and I'm one of them who calls him out. But I do tend to, I hold in my heart the fact that Dele still is a player in there, and he's just got to find the right consistency and the right mix of trying to be box to box and trying to have flair, you know. But that was absolute, you know, crispy, brilliant pass, exactly what we wanted, onto Harry Kane, who's not going to miss many opportunities like that. So, you know, the first sort of 25 minutes or so, you're looking at it thinking, this is good, you know, that the movement was good, the passion was good, the pressing was good, and you're thinking, well, okay, you know, there's a bit of a reaction. And whilst people will go, yeah, but it's only Wolves is probably our level at the moment, to be fair. You know, no disrespect to them, because I think they're a great club. I think their fans are brilliant, Wolves fans. They follow their club with real passion, and I like that club. I think, you know, They're a good team and a good club. So I'm not being disrespectful to them, but in the overall scheme of things, you want your team to be better than a Wolves, in the overall standings. But we're probably in that area. Currently we're a mid-table, struggling squad that's trying to rebuild and get its way back. We're nowhere near the top 4. So that was a real battle, and I expected them to really push and try and come back into it. The goal they scored before half time, and I can't remember the guy's name who scored it, to be honest. But for me, that was the other side of Ndombele. He's watching him. He's marking the guy. And he's looking straight at him, he's marking the guy and all the rest of it, and he still manages to lose him and give him a free header that was, a cracking header, top right hand corner. Goalkeeper's not got a lot of chance to get it, and there you are. You're giving the impetus back to Wolves, who are not going to give it up. They're not going to just give that up. And so it's game on come the second half. And I think mind games get into that, because straight away I'm thinking to myself, oh, here we bloody go. That's going to be a struggle second half now, because we've capitulated every second half for this season. So why is this one going to be any different? And that's when I started to worry. So if I'm starting to worry as a person sat at home watching it on a dodgy stream in his living room, you can imagine that filtering down into the fans on the ground, filtering down into the players. And that, for me, that adds to it, that adds to the overall issue. So it was just, for me, it was just coming, and we needed to strike back quickly. And we did have opportunities in the game. To be fair, if you watch the highlights again, there was some opportunities in there. Brian Hill had a great opportunity that the keeper saved really well with his trailing leg to keep us out. So it wasn't all one way. So coming on to the second goal for Wolves, my initial reaction was fucking Ndombele falling over and allowing that. Too weak. So excuse the language, but I've called it out a few times on different videos that I tend to feel like our players go down a bit easy, and Lo Celso is one of them who does it a lot, and I've kind of thought, you're being too weak there. You need to be a bit stronger. Yeah, sometimes you'll get a foul for it, but sometimes you're not getting them. And certainly this season, they've been a little bit stronger on that sort of stuff and letting things go a little bit more. So I'm kind of thinking, you should have been stronger there. You shouldn't have gone over. You can't just play for a foul and hope it's going to go your way. Of course, the ball breaks. You're tracking back. You're chasing shadows, and before you know it, you're back to even pegging on a Desmond 2-2, and that's it. So I was livid. I'll use the term fuming. I was fuming with Ndombele for that. On reflection, and this is why I try to do the videos the day after rather than on the day always. On reflection, and having seen it several times since, I think that's a foul. So for me, like I say, having watched it, I think it's a foul. I think it's one of them that could be given. So I've retracted my fuming situation and feel that actually it's a bit unlucky, from his point of view. So I'm not gonna absolutely crucify him, although, as I said, still not happy about his defending of the first goal. So we go to penalties, and penalties is, as we all know, a lottery. You never know what you're going to get out of it, and ultimately, we get the winning penalties out of it. But Højbjerg, what are you doing? That was a crap penalty. But you know, luckily they were more crap at penalties. I was going to say crappier at penalties than us. So we march on to the next round, and it's a bit of a boost for the team and a bit of a boost for the fans, especially those that went all the way up there. You know, fair play. Middle of the week, going all the way to the Midlands. So, you know, it's great that we're still in the next round. But there's still lots and lots of work to do, isn't there? You know, let's not kid ourselves that we are marching on to success. You know, it's going to be a long, hard season, I think, and you know, disappointing. But to be fair, you know, I give credit. I thought Brian Hill played really, really well. I thought he did some good stuff, and he clearly is a lad with plenty of talent. So hopefully we'll see that improve as time goes on, and he'll get better and better, and we can really have one for the future, because he is a really young lad. So it was pleasing to see him, and he played more centrally, and I think he did have a lot of impact in the game. So yeah, I mean, that was one of the pleasing aspects of the game for sure. Harry getting a goal as well, that's another pleasing one, because he was getting a little bit of flack, like he wasn't bothered, and I don't think that's the case. I don't think you can ever say that Harry Kane's not bothered. I think, you know, ultimately he wants to score goals. That's what he lives for, and he loves it, you know. So the fact that it wasn't happening for him was probably hugely frustrating, and he did have other chances, so they will come. But for me, you know, happy to see us win. You know, even though it's on penalties, I'm still happy for that, because, you know, a win's a win, whichever way round you look at it. You're still in a competition, so the quadruple is still on, and so, you know, we march on from there. So we've got to keep our chins up, keep supporting our team. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You know, football is like an addiction. You know, it's like being not literally, but it's like being a junkie, it's like being an alcoholic, it's like being a smoker or whatever. You know, you can't leave it alone. You might know it's bad for you, but you're still going to do it, and that's life. So yeah, happy to see it, and we march onto the big one at the weekend. Let's see what comes out of that. Are we going to be crowing, or are we going to be crying? We'll see. Up the Spurs.